What's up again, everybody? This is Andrew Wright with another Review the Right Thing, and man, it has been a long time since I have talked to you guys. We are coming up on basically a year since I have made my last video. And what have I been doing with this year, you might ask? Well, nothing. Basically just continued to do my store management position at the retail store I was at. Continued just to become bitter with it. Kind of depressed to a certain degree. You know, my head wasn't in it anymore. I was just ready to get out of that position. And I think that kind of just had an impact on me wanting to do these videos. I mean, I'm not a lazy individual by any means, but I am kind of a procrastinator. And, honestly, I mean, obviously I've got to edit these videos. I've got to take the time to record them. If I screw something up, I have to re-record it. It's not exactly a fast process to make these videos. And in the meantime, I could be watching movies, listening to records, playing video games. It's a tough thing to want to get motivated to do. I had a lot of fun with this in 2020, and then just didn't do anything with it last year. So I really want to kind of get back into this and make this a part of my life again. I did get a new camera in 2021. Very prepared to start making more videos. I got a mic for that camera, a little Rode mic, instead of using my phone for the audio and then using my camera that I had at the time, which wasn't as nice as the one that we've stepped up to for the video, and then syncing those together was kind of a pain in the ass, but it worked really well, sounded very good. I'm not super impressed with the Rode mic, however it works well. It works better than my iPhone, and I don't have to worry about editing that audio together to make that go in sync. So it's a little bit easier, but I just, like I said, I haven't taken the time to do it. Just been putting it off, procrastinating like hell. And, I don't want this channel to just become a fart of an idea and just kind of, poof, but smell a little bit afterwards. It's just not my goal. I really don't have a goal with this other than I just really enjoy media, and I just kind of wanted to share that with people. I enjoy watching other people's reviews too, and I just also wanted to share my opinion. I guess, opinions are like assholes and everybody has one. I just wanted to share mine as well. So, anyways, to move forward a little bit, like I said, I do want to put more attention into this channel this year. I don't want it to just become, a thought, basically. I've had a lot of fun with the ones I've made, and I've gotten good feedback with some of those videos, too. Some of them not quite as much. I mean, some of my toy reviews didn't get really a whole lot of movement, but then some of my music reviews, I've gotten some traction on those, or some comments, was able to have, a little bit of, conversation with people on some of that stuff. And some of my Blu-ray reviews did really, really well too. So I really want to do more of that this year. I actually wanted to get a 2021 best of list put together, and I had it put together. It's put together, but now we're on February 6th, and I just don't know. It's probably not worth me making that video anymore. A lot of awesome music that came out last year. If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, we can. Shoot me your top 10. I'll shoot you my top 30 that I have from basically just every genre. I kind of make playlists on Spotify. I go like metal, non-metal, and rap. And then I had to basically break down 10 into each, which was very difficult because there was a lot of awesome music that came out last year. And a lot of great records that didn't make my top 10, and not because they weren't great records. It was just because something else just got listened to more. I guess with that in mind, I'm going to, just shout out a few things. Nas put out 2 projects last year. Either one of them would have been fine on my top 10. I did only put King's Disease 2 on my top 10. But man, Magic is pretty magical. Honestly, like his line of, about him and Hit Boy being the new Gang Starr is one of my favorite things from 2021. I'm not really sure why, but it just hit me and put such a smile on my face. I'm a big Gang Starr fan, so when he kind of said that, and I was like, I mean, they are like 3 for 3, and they're so goddamn good. So that reference just kind of tickled me a little bit. I loved it. you know, sorry, that was just a random mention, because I don't know if I'm going to really mention anymore, because we're just getting off the track. But there was tons of great music last year, and I'm really hoping to get more involved this year into some of the music, get reviews out, and then, you know, actually put a top 10 out at the end of the year. So it's all, you know, hopeful thinking, and as long as I can push myself to do so, you'll see me. So today, we're going to basically just get my feet wet with the video again. Kind of wanted to, sorry, I got little sniffles, you know. I did start a new job, going back to, you know, everything from last year, so we're in a good spot, and, you know, I feel good, you know, I just want to get back into this. But anyways, one of the things I had an idea of, too, was a little conversation that, you know, always popped up in my head last year, just due to artists making, you know, shorter records, some of them classifying them as EPs, some of them not. And that is, when is an EP an EP, and when is a full length a full length? Do you guys think it has to do with track number? Does it have to do with runtime? When do you think a full length is a full length? So for me, with all these rappers putting out, you know, 7-track, 15, 20-minute long albums, I mean, in my younger days, I would have said that's an EP. However, there's a lot of, you know, great albums that are 4 tracks that are considered an album, but they're also, you know, doom metal artists, 10, 12-minute songs, black metal artists with 10, 12-minute songs, or even, you know, technical dissonant death metal with 10, 12-minute songs. So yeah, those 4 tracks make up a full length. But does necessarily a 20-minute album, 7 tracks, does that not, you know, constitute a full length? What do you guys think? I mean, I think that it does more so nowadays than it did in the past. And I think, you know, you'll have artists that, you know, will release a obvious EP. You know, some of them will actually tell you it's an EP. You know, they're releasing music in between 2 LPs. This is just kind of like some filler, you know, something to get your teeth wet until they release their next project. But, you know, with that in mind, you also have a lot of, you know, like these shorter projects that are considered their full lengths. You know, an artist does consider this their full album. And so who are we to say that it's not? You know, just because a track, or just because, you know, a song might be 2 minutes long and you have 7 songs and the whole album is 14 minutes, does that necessarily make it an EP? I just don't think it does anymore, I guess. It's a weird conversation, I guess. You know, it's a weird topic. So it could be and it couldn't be. I mean, grind albums, obviously, you know, could have 30 songs and still clock in at under 20 minutes. Most Nails records are 10, 12 minutes long. They're considered full lengths. So I know grind bands are the exception because they're writing these very short tracks that are considered a full thought or a full, you know, fleshed out song. This is a full fleshed out song, even though it's only 5 seconds long. You know, so I don't really know where else to go with it, but it was just something I've been thinking about and thought I would, you know, just throw it on the channel as part of the video that I was, you know, doing today, just to see what everybody else's thoughts were for, you know, what constitutes an EP versus an LP. Well, LP is easy, but what constitutes an EP? Does it necessarily have to be based on track lengths, or the full runtime of the album? Or does it just have to be specified by the artist that it's an EP? So, but regardless, there was a lot of great shorter albums that came out last year that weren't always considered EPs. But, you know, me always just wanting more, I just, you know, selfish, and I'm just like, man, this just isn't enough music. I wanted more. You know, so it just always gets me thinking about those kind of things, I guess. So, from there, we're going to go into the first review of 2021, and I was able to snag a copy of this on CD, not available on LP at the moment. I had talked to a guy from Willowtip on Twitter, seeing if maybe it was going to be available, but in the meantime, I needed to have it and support these guys. But this is 7 9s and 10's new album with Over-Opiated in a Forest of Whispering Speakers. And this is a pretty awesome album. Definitely not what Willowtip would normally release either. You know, to me, if you're not familiar with Willowtip Records, they are a, you know, death metal grind label that puts out just tons of awesome, brutal music. Their whole thing is forward-thinking death metal, so it, you know, to me, they've always put out metal that has just been, you know, forward-thinking. I think is a really cool way of, you know, terming it. But it's definitely those who kind of outlie the rest of the field. You know, could be because of creativity or even musicianship. Maybe you know, they're just putting out something that's just a tad better than everybody else. And maybe that's partly the case, but they are definitely the outliers. And I think in the death metal world, maybe not so much as much nowadays, because there's been so many killer artists that have come from that label. But they were definitely always putting out stuff that was, you know, a little bit different than what the mainstream artists were putting out, or the mainstream labels were putting out. And this project being basically a non-metal project to a degree, it has a lot of metal guitars into it, but there is no screaming. It is just hushed vocals. I honestly has more in common with My Bloody Valentine than it does anything else. But they do step up the distorted guitars quite a bit. There's some crushing moments in it. It's got a very, you know, doomy kind of shoegaze feel. And I think it's an amazing record. There's not a dud track on the whole thing. I mean, we were only looking at 2, 4, 6, 7 songs. So going back to, you know, what I was talking about with the full length. But all of those songs are, you know, normal runtime length, you know, 5, 6 minutes. So it's a decently long album. And I think it clocks in at just around a half an hour, a little bit more than a half an hour. But wow, is it just so good. So I highly recommend going to listen to this if you guys are a fan of anything shoegaze, anything kind of post-metal. Definitely listen to this. It's got a lot of, you know, moments that are a little bit more doom-oriented, where they do get a little more crushing with the guitars, and it just hits you with a bunch of feedback and reverb, and it is just beautiful. But then otherwise, you know, he's just got this great singing voice. The music is just very catchy. And, you know, I was kind of going back and forth between ratings and stuff last year. So, I'm going to still probably give this a rating. You know, this is a solid 9 to me. You know, grabbed me a lot right off the bat. But the more I listened to it, the more I was just, you know, encapsulated in this whole thing. It's a very, very good record. Highly recommend checking it out. Here it is one more time for those in the back. 7, 9s, and 10s. Over-opiated. It's a very hard word to say for some reason. Over-opiated in a forest of whispering speakers. So, the Digipack case, just a pretty standard Digipack case. $9 though on Bandcamp, so definitely go support these guys. And support Willowtip so they can continue to put out awesome music like this. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching my video today, even though it was very short, sweet, to the point. Just wanted to kind of get my feet wet, back into the whole thing a little bit, get used to talking again, instead of, you know, jumbling over my words and sounding like a moron. Just get used to this whole process over and over again, and let's get you some more content. I've bought a lot of 4Ks already in 2022. I've watched a few of them, so I'll have to get some reviews out there. I've got to dive into some of those special features, see how those are doing. But yeah, I'm going to definitely get this thing moving a little bit more this year. Probably focus less on the toys, because I have gotten a lot of toys. Did a lot of reviews for them in 2020. And unfortunately, just with the pandemic, it has been harder and harder for me to find things that I like. You see stores getting stocked more so, you know, definitely this year, because we were only 2 months into the year. But even as of the end of last year, 2021, you were starting to see a lot more restocks on stuff. And things were becoming more readily available instead of at the beginning of the year where you couldn't find shit. And so toy collecting became really no fun to me. And part of it is fun. Part of it is that I like these characters and I want to display them on my shelf. But like I said, I bought a lot. I'm even trying to like slim down some stuff to kind of move things around. Blu-rays and 4Ks and CDs and LPs are always a big part of my thing. Toys weren't as much as my go-to thing until recently, and there's still toys that I want. but there's still plenty of LPs and 4Ks and other things that I want too, and it's got to balance. You know, it's got to find the balance because I don't only have a finite amount of space. So, but anyways, I'll have to be getting some of those reviews out to you guys, get some more music reviews up, because 2022 is already hitting us with some great music. Another one I wanted to speak about was that new Saba that just came out Friday. I can't remember what it's called, but man, is it so good already? So that may be another one maybe I'll throw a review up for next week or something. But that'll be it for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope that you're looking forward to seeing some more material from me, and you'll be, you know, eagerly awaiting those videos. You've already selected my bell from 2 years ago, so you're already waiting for the notifications. But if you haven't, do it now. Subscribe to my channel. You'll get to see some more stuff. And it's been a pleasure talking to you guys again. This has been Review the Right Thing. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon. Peace.